You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program.
Well, it's the beginning of the year. It is the time that many folks are starting to organize their taxes. April 15th is coming upon us. Today, of course, January 27th. And Roni Deutch is with us, the tax attorney, tax expert, founder of the Roni Deutch Tax Center, rdtc.com, that website. And, of course, her little more personal website, Roni Deutch, RONI Deutch.com. Roni, welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Tom. Thank you for having me.
Always great having you on, Roni. I got a bunch of questions for you, and then I'd like to throw it open to my listeners if they have tax questions for you, if that's all right with you.
The great news is I'm sure they're going to have a lot of questions today.
I suspect so. Our phone number, 866-303-2270. First of all, the questions that I have, we've kind of compiled and pulled together from emails and whatnot that we've gotten. Number one, the most common question that seems to get passed along to me, particularly after we get off the air with you, is what should people do if they don't have enough money to pay their taxes? They know that they owe taxes. What do they do? What do they do? So I know some people just don't file. And I know that's the absolute wrong thing to do. What do you do if you can't afford to pay your taxes?
Let's talk about that reality. Right now, 45 million good people in the United States of America cannot afford to pay the IRS any taxes. So first issue we've got to address. I know it's much easier to dig a hole in the sand, bury our head in it. We must at least file a tax return. I don't care if you cannot afford to pay the liability. The IRS has got to receive a tax return in a timely manner or file for an extension. Here's why. They're going to add a ton of money to what you owe without a tax return. Number two, they'll prepare the return for you, and you will get no deductions, no credits, nothing. So we step back to the big question, what in the world do I do if I'm one of the 45 million people who owe? Great news. I have great news to share. The IRS has outstanding programs available to help everybody in America who owes the IRS. I don't know if you've noticed lately, but there's been a lot of talk, a lot of articles about how the IRS will be kinder and gentler. Hey, I don't buy the kinder and gentler part. What I do buy is the tax laws and codes that help you. Let's start with them. We've got installment agreements. I know you're stepping back and saying, but Ron, what if I don't have the money to enter into a monthly payment plan with the IRS? If you do have the money to do a monthly payment plan, I say let's throw them $20 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month to keep the big bad wolf in the closet. But if you don't even have enough money to do a monthly payment plan with them, there is something called CNC. Very important for people to know. Currently not collectible, and that is what it means. It means I cannot get one penny from you, even if you owe me $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $20,000. You do not have a job. You're currently unemployed, like many good people. You've walked away from your house. You've walked away from asset, so there's no asset value. They're not going to make you sell your retirement accounts, cash those bad boys in, and be stuck with 60, 70% loss on that. The IRS will work with you, and it's critical for people to know. Last important golden nugget, it's called the Offer in Compromise Program. I've been doing it for 18 years, Tom. It is one of the greatest negotiating tools available. It basically means this. I owe you $50,000, $40,000, $30,000 IRS, but if you take a good look at me, I can't pay you that amount. Let's negotiate. I'll give you $1,000. I'll give you $500, and the matter goes away. Three great tools. We have an installment agreement. We have a currently not collectible where they leave you alone, put you on a dead shelf, and they'll revisit you in a year or two, or, of course, the Offer and Compromise Program, which is my favorite because you negotiate the debt in full and you're done.
Right. any of the three or all three of these, Ronnie, programs that somebody can or should undertake by themselves, or are they the kind of things where, and again, I don't want to turn this into an infomercial for the Roni Deutch Tax Center. There's also a lot of other good tax preparers around the country, as well as a few scam artists out there. But broadly speaking, and I realize you have some self-interest in answering the question, but is this the kind of thing that people should go to a professional for, or is this the kind of thing that people can navigate themselves generally?
Yeah, I think you've got to step back and look at the level of sophistication of the particular taxpayer who's getting screwed here and owes the money. If they are a sophisticated person, I truly believe they can read the laws, fill out the forms, call the IRS, engage them, and start the negotiation process. Okay. Of course, I am one of many solutions. As a lawyer, that's what I do. I represent people who owe the IRS. That's what RoniDeutch.com does. But again, it's really up to you. If you only owe, it's all relative, right? You $800, $1,200, $2,000. Pick up that phone right now and start talking to the IRS and be human with them. If you've got to cry, cry. Get them the documents that they need. I do not believe you've got to hire a tax attorney for low dollar amounts. But let me tell you some news. If you owe over $15,000 or you do have a high tax liability, it is much more complex, comprehensive, a lot more hoops to jump through, so to speak. I would then consider hiring someone at that time.
Okay. If somebody was unemployed for all or part of last year, how does that affect their taxes?
Yeah, you know what? You and I can respectfully agree and disagree on tax policies, but this is one. For goodness sakes, let's leave unemployed people alone. Unfortunately, unemployment compensation, severance packages, severance payments, payoff accumulated for sick, vacation, all of it is taxable income on your federal return.
Right, which is crazy.
You will receive a 1099-G from the IRS showing the amount of money you received from the government, and I'm so sorry to say that you've got to pay taxes on that amount.
Right. If you lost your house, what can you do to recoup some of those losses on your taxes? There's a lot of people who have lost their homes to defaults and things like that.
You know what? Let's talk about some good news. Thank God the laws have changed. Did you know that if you walked from your home in the past, the IRS actually sent you a 1099-C and you had to pay taxes on the cancellation of debt? That was before. Let's talk about now. The Mortgage Debt Relief Act of 2007 allows taxpayers to exclude from income any of the discharge of debt that they had on their principal residence. We're talking up to $2 million if you're married, $1 million if you're single. So again, good news. If you walk from the home, you are not going to have to pay taxes for the debt that was discharged. But let me throw an important carrot. Many people are also walking from credit card debt and from automobiles. I beg all of you listening to negotiate with the credit card holder, negotiate with the car lien holder, and make sure that when you walk, they do not send you a 1099-C, which would again be the cancellation of debt portion. For example, you walk away from $10,000 in credit card debt, you're going to get a tax bill from the IRS if that person sends you a 1099-C.
Right. So is there any way to get the credit card company not to do the 1099-C and call that income, or is that simply the law?
Yes, of course. That's why I'm saying if you are educated and armed with this knowledge, they won't send you the 1099-C. All you have to do is ask.
Really?
Mr. Credit Card Company, do not send me a 1099-C. I want this to be included in the part of the negotiation for me walking from this.
So why would the credit card company do that? Because then they're going to have to absorb some tax liability, aren't they?
No. Here's why, Tom. It's an important distinction. I'm a negotiator and I owe $10,000 in credit card debt. If I'm willing to give you $4,000, $3,000, $2,000, some form of money, you should be able to waive the 1099-C and they will not include it. But if you outright walk and you don't pay them any money at all, the chances are very, very good that you will get a 1099-C. So by paying a little bit of bones and a little bit of skin to the credit card person, company, you could save significant tax dollars in the end.
All right. Very good. Very good. We're talking with Roni Deutch, the tax attorney and tax expert, founder of the Roni